We're talking about this levy and the fund. What are some of the primary objectives?
Oh yes, if you look at the levy, it actually forms part and parcel of the National Training Fund. Now, the National Training Fund is a pot of money that will be available for vocational education and training interventions. Now, the levy is but one of those interventions as well. So with the levy, it's actually going to go towards training of employees within establishments. This is for participating employers, as well as for the training of trainees in educational institutions, vocational education and training institutions. Now, in terms of the objective of a vocational education and training levy, and I think internationally, if you look at it, a number of governments are going in this route because training in itself is an expensive exercise. And I think the funding thereof has been primarily done by government. And we know that government has a number of competing priorities. So we need to be able to provide for additional funding that will go towards funding, especially vocational education and training in this regard. So I think primarily that is the idea, is to ensure that we have additional resources that will go towards funding vocational training.
Is it because you have established the need for training in these areas, or why would you need another way of encouraging training in this sort of field?
Well, I think the thing is, what we have in Namibia, we have obviously the current high unemployment rate, as well as a number of other social evils. I think training and development can go a long way in alleviating some of these issues. But I think one of the key areas is if we want to achieve economic growth for the country, and I think this is one of the main focus areas for Vision 2030 as well. And I think one of the determining factors for economic growth is around the productivity of your labor force. So you need to be able to obviously upskill, continuously upgrade the employees who are currently working, as well as people who are unemployed, to be able to provide them with opportunities that they can actually, be able to earn an income and so forth. So it's a number of areas that have been identified where the training levy can actually come in. But as I said earlier, primarily it's around the resourcing of interventions around training. And I think vocational education and training, I must stress, is quite an expensive area. You're talking of machine-intensive training, and you find for some of the skills areas, I think the mining areas, for example, you have a limited number of people that you can actually have your trainer-trainee ratio in a class, which makes the unit cost that much higher. So you actually need to have a lot of money to be able to go towards this, and especially if we want to get the kind of quality that we actually want for Namibia to be able to grow economically. Yeah.